It's Rambling Hour with Lisa, season 11, episode 2. And as you just saw, Sasha is one of our guests tonight, wandering in the garden. She just walked past here, so she's doing really well. And I am in the garden. I am right, that is the beautiful greenhouse behind me. Just want to show it up because I love it. And then there's like bird feeders and stuff on this side, and you can see the bird bath back there. So how is everyone? How are you? What have you been up to this week? What is new? Have you had nice weather to be out in the garden? Are you as excited as I am to be, oh, and you can see my banana plants behind here. Are you as excited as I am to be outside? Well, that is why I am just wearing like sweatpants and a t-shirt. This is how I garden. Hair back usually. It looks even nicer than it usually does because I went out yesterday with Steve. So this is yesterday's hair put into a ponytail. But what I'm just gonna confirm that this is working. Yeah, okay. So yeah. So that's why usually my hair does not look this good for gardening even. But I didn't want to stop gardening, but I didn't want to disappoint you guys and not keep my word about doing my live, even if I don't know if anybody's going to interact today. I'll explain that in a minute. Excuse me, but I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm in the garden and I'm talking to you guys. However, like the sun is already going down and it usually gets a bit dusky at 7:30. So like right now, so I know it'll get darker here, but I have my ring light, so we should be okay. And not only is greenhouse efficient and it's going to bring me years of like, I haven't even got started really of everything that I can do with this greenhouse. It looks amazing. I just want to take pictures of it all the time. I just love looking at it. It just is such a statement piece. It adds to the atmosphere. Like, it's just beautiful. It makes things so much better. So one of the reasons I know that some people are, oh, you know what? You can see the reflection. Look at those dirty. That is a gardener. You can see the ring light reflection in the greenhouse right there. That big. Can't help it. Whatever. As you guys know, a couple weeks ago, I mentioned that my cousin Maureen sadly passed away from cancer at only age, oh my God, I'm an idiot. I think she was 56. And there isn't a funeral, there is a party, because that is how Maureen would want it. She wanted everybody to celebrate her life and not mourn her death. So tonight at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time in Alberta, where Maureen is from and most of my relatives live, there is a party for her. So most of my sisters and my mom and everybody and my aunties who watch this and keep up with this, they will be going to this at 4 o'clock. Right now for them, the time is like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, so it's 3 hours until party time. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully. This is what Maureen wanted for her celebration of life. It's a dinner and a dance. And she just wants people to, in our family, because I've told you guys before, we're a really close family. I realize I live a world away now, but we are a really close family. So anything, weddings, funerals, babies, like we get together, and not only are these times to, mourn together or celebrate together and everything else, but it's like a family reunion. So as sad as it is when someone passes away, we come together as one big family, and so there is that part of it that we get to see each other. But we don't only come together in the sad times. We're not that kind of family that, all of our relatives are invited to the weddings, and they help out with decorations and food and everything if need be. And we're a very close family. We try to get together a lot. This is on my dad's side, the McDermott side. But yeah, so everybody's together this weekend, and I doubt that they were like, whoa, guys, let's stop our visiting and enjoying our time together. And Sasha, what are you doing? Yeah, let's stop our time together visiting. And Lisa's live is on. Let's all tune in together, even though they do tune in, at their own places on a normal Sunday. Yeah, I don't think they're going to stop what they're doing, visiting with each other, to tune in just to me rambling on. Although I do wish I could be there and be visiting with everybody and go to this end of life party for a good send off for my cousin Maureen. It would be great to see everyone and just give hugs to the family. And like, it is nice that everybody will be together, but there is still that sadness, because the best part would be Maureen being there partying with us. And I realize in spirit she probably is, but it's not the same, is it? You know, but it brings it, you know, together that more and more of us are going to be crossing over, and you either keep living and watch people around you pass, or you're the one who passes and people have to, you know, mourn the loss of you, which, you know, neither is great, but we just got to be grateful for every day we're given, and celebrate the people around us while they're here, and, you know, celebrate the time that we had with them once they're gone. So anyways, that's why I'm unsure. Okay, sorry, it said trying to reconnect, so I don't know if that's my Wi-Fi. I'm right outside the office where the Wi-Fi is. If it does that again, I'll just turn off my Wi-Fi, but it seems to have been all right lately, but we'll see. So anybody who's watching this live right now, let me know if I cut out. Yeah, so I don't know who's going to tune in today live, or if you're going to watch us catching up later, which I could see that. I could see people who would usually tune in on a Sunday watching this later, so I might as well still ramble. I don't know how interesting I'm going to be, or what topics I can think of to talk about. I mean, I could talk about gardening the whole time, but only certain people would enjoy that. So let's see, is there any updates in the family with anything? Feeling better. So is Steve. So Steve got to see Jackson this week. I haven't went and saw him yet, but so that's nice that Steve gets to see grandbaby. And everybody seems to be doing fine. Nothing. Oh, Thomas passed his theory for his driving test. So the theory is the knowledge part of it, and now he's going to do some intense driving lessons, and then he's going to go for his test. And I can't say anything. I got my learners at 14. That's where we like a provisional where you can learn to drive. And so I've been driving since I was 14, but you had to be beside an adult. Here it's 17 to get that. But I did do my test. I did defensive driving training when I was 16, and then I went for my test when I was 16, but I failed, and then I never went again until I was 21, and I went on Tuesday and failed, so I failed twice. And then but I realized then I was just bad habits from driving for so long without passing my test. So I went on the Tuesday, failed. I went on the Thursday and just took it easy like a grandma, and just, you know, took my corners nice and everything else, and then I passed. So, but I was 21, so that's how old Tom is now. So I can't say anything, especially when they start driving later here than in Canada. Diana says, your yard is gorgeous. Thank you, Diana. I know you love your garden too. So, I imagine that you're really enjoying the nicer weather. Is Saskatchewan anything like Alberta with the extreme heat? Or are you like Ontario where it was still like 0 a couple days ago overnight? Or are you in between? Diana says, everyone is ready at their own time. See, that's how quickly my brain, I don't even remember what I was just talking about. Oh, driving. Yeah, driving. Yes, exactly. So I'm not going to say, I'm just happy that he's focused now, and that he's, I just keep watching Sasha, because she can be a little bit naughty, and just making sure she's not going to get into trouble digging holes, or pulling plant pots that she likes to carry around and wreck the plastic pots and stuff. So she looks a bit bored, but there is toys out here for her too. And Diana says, yes, we are super hot. Yeah, that is, so in Alberta, on the prairies in Canada, and then Saskatchewan, because that's what I just asked Diana, it is super, like, summer temperatures, but in the spring, and there's so many forest fires in Alberta. I'm not sure if there's any in Saskatchewan, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is. But there's, like, let's pray for rain for anywhere that there's forest fires, but the extreme heat that they're having is just very bizarre and out of character, especially when Ontario is usually higher degrees compared to Alberta, and they are lower degrees right now. Here it's going to be nice this week, between 17 and 19 kind of thing. Well, 15 and 19. So it's going to be nice this week, but it's still, it gets like, even now I could put it like they call them jumpers here, like a sweater or a cardigan or something on, because it's just, without the sun shining on you, it just gets a bit chilly. Auntie Diane says, hi there. Hi, Auntie Diane. I didn't know if any of you guys were going to tune in today, because I know that there'll be lots of visiting up in Grand Prairie today and this weekend. Diana says, yes, fires here and smoke. Yes, that's what I've heard with my family back in Alberta have said, like the smoke is just getting really bad. My sister thinks my nephew not feeling well is because of all the smoke and I know, I said to my sister that when I do like a fire pit here, when I burn a bunch of brush or whatever, when I'm doing the yard work, if the smoke keeps coming to me and I get too smoked out, I feel like, you know, in the chest crappy, and like it takes a while for me, and my, you know, just headache, like I feel gross for a while. So I imagine like just it being in the air and not being able to go anywhere to breathe fresh air is just, I couldn't even imagine it. So Diana says around 25. So you're around 25 right now, and it's, is it 2 in the afternoon, I think, for you? Oh, I see my mom's watching now too. It says Robin Lynn, but that is actually Nicole. But, you know, people go by different names on their Instagram and Facebook and stuff. So says, love your greenhouse. I just built a salsa garden and started lots of veggies in our garden beds. That's what I would like to do too. And specifically salsa is one of them. I'd like to like focus instead of trying to grow everything and get like a, you know, a little bit of a good crop of things. Although you don't know what year things are going to be good and what year they're not. I want to like focus on a few ingredients and then make things like, say, like a salsa garden. And then that year you just can a bunch of salsa. And then the next year you might focus on something else. So, but this year I've only done, like for the veggies, I've only done sweet corn and a couple zucchini plants, or as they're called here, courgettes. Well, if you leave them and you take them off the plant when they're small, they're courgettes. And if you wait till they're big, then they're marrows, but they're all zucchinis. And also, that's something that you guys in Canada, you can take your zucchinis off of the plant when they're little, and it'll just keep making more. And those little ones are actually really nice. You can use the big ones for baking and everything else, but try taking a little one off and slicing it up and just, you know, pan frying it with a little bit of olive oil and onions, and it's really, really good. And I love my greenhouse too, so thank you. You might hear Sasha howling in the, she's waiting for her daddy. Auntie Diane says, a little later this afternoon, we're heading out to Saskatoon Lake. Yeah, I know the memorial party and everything is at 4, but I didn't know if relatives were at each other's houses or anything right now. And Auntie Diane says, I'm trying spaghetti squash this year. I absolutely love spaghetti squash, which you know because I've grown it in the past and we've talked about it on here. I just don't have any seeds left because I'm an idiot and didn't save any from the spaghetti squashes I had because I don't know what I thought. But I don't have any seeds for any spaghetti squash. Sasha, come here. Poor Sasha, waiting for her daddy to get home. Hi, want to come up here? Hello. Hello. Are you a good girl? Yeah, you can't totally climb up on me. Come here. You a good girl? You a good girl? Yes, she's a good girl. We spend most of our days together, don't we? Every day. Well, your daddy's at work. It's one of my furry grandbabies. Mom says, hi, Lisa. Hi, Mama. Hope you're good and that you're enjoying visiting with people. I need to show off the greenhouse again. That's what angle. As I was watching the sun go down and the way it looked there with the sun coming through, I might set up that way next week if it's sunny outside while it's going down because it made a nice view. And then there's flowers over there, so that looks good. Let's just do a turnaround. Okay, so you can see that palette right now is like meant to block there if we want to block it. And patio doors go into the living room. There's some nice flowers there that I just did that display. And seating more, and then the dining area over there, and the pond area, but I need to dig out the pond back in there. But and then we go around and around, and that is the stream, which I shut off the stream because I needed the extension lead for my light, and I don't have power outside. So the stream is back in there. You can't really see it from here because I had to put all those logs there for the last puppy, Nova, because she was trying to go down there. So I've had to raise it up so that no dogs go in there and stuff. And then we're back to where I'm sitting. So I'm gonna quickly scrooge this away because of the cord that's on my phone. Ow, ow! And now I just spilt my drink. This is the real Lisa. This is my life. I didn't even have a sip of the full glass. It was the last of my bottle anyways, but thank you. Diana says lovely. I'll just have this last sip. At least it was outside and just went on the grass, so I don't have to clean it up. But that is, what was I watching yesterday? Oh, we were watching this show, and there was this girl who, it's an Australian show. What's it called again? Not Well-Being. She's Australian. She lives in New York, and she's a writer. She goes back to Australia for her friend's birthday or something, and then while she's there, her green card and everything gets stolen because her bag gets stolen on the beach, and she needs to get a new green card. But they won't approve her to get a new green card because she's not healthy enough because she got sick, and so they're waiting for her to get healthy. So she's doing all these wellness things to try and get healthy. I'll put the name in the comments because I can't remember what it's called. But Steve started watching it. But yeah, so she had a not a colonoscopy. What's it called again? When you, I know the name. It's right there, but it's anyways, when you get cleaned out the rectum, like when they put like liquid in you and then it comes out and you can see it in the tube, like cleaning you out. And she had one of those done, and then she was at the gym and she was trying the ribbons, not ribbons, what are they called? You know the things Pink does, the long pieces of material that you tie around you and you, anyways, she was trying to do those and she got caught in them, and then this cute guy comes over to try and help her out of them, and then she like kicks him in the face, and then later she's talking to her brother who works at the gym, and she farts, and it's like, oh, like because of her, whatever it's called, her cleansing thing. And I was like, this is on a comedy, but I told Steve, I'm like, this is just your life with me, because like accidentally hurting him all the time, you know, like going in for a kiss and banging our heads, or I'm just so clumsy and then farting all the time, definitely me. But yeah, so our life is a comedy. Sasha, come here. So of course, now that I'm doing my live and not paying lots of attention to Sasha, and she's waiting for her dad to come home, she's gonna start barking, and she'll howl too. This is her new thing when she misses her dad. Weirdly, she'll come out here and stand and bark up into the air. But if she wants to howl, she goes back into the house and she'll howl in there to... Oh, do you hear that? That's a blackbird. He's a few times in the morning, like morning about 1 o'clock. There's different times of day that the blackbird will say his little message. And then you hear in the distance, another blackbird will respond. You probably can't hear the other one, but they talk back and forth, and it's really cool. So that's the blackbird just doing his messaging to let them know what's going on and stuff. But poor Sasha. And yeah, I just had a pimple here that it was really little one, but I just like tried to get the white stuff out of it, which made it look really big, perfect for being on my live. Luckily, as you can tell, I don't always care. So, yeah, I can go on and on about gardening. Now that I'm turned this way a little bit, you can see the bird feeders. I was really bad. Because I was so sad about the greenhouse and everything, I was really bad at, like, doing anything in the garden this winter. So I'm finally, like, almost caught up with everything that should have been done earlier. But I finally refilled the bird feeders, too, so... Oh, that's a little one, and you can see the big one up there with more stuff on it. Any suet balls or anything like that I have to put up high, because I know from past experience, like I said, I haven't really fed the birds this winter, so I don't know about Sasha, but I'm sure she'll be the same as any other dog. They love the balls of fat. So I put them up high so that they can't eat them. Now Lena's barking. Now Sasha's barking because Lena's barking. And I don't know. All I'm thinking about is that I don't have any pop now, which is really, that's the life of an addict, isn't it? So, yeah, as we were talking about veggies and stuff, I haven't really started anything much. I don't know. Tomatoes might just come up in my beds anyways because of compost in the past, and when you compost your tomatoes, then all the seeds and everything. So I might get some tomatoes without having to try. And like I just because I didn't have the greenhouse and everything else, I wasn't really focused on seeds this year. I did start some cosmos and some, oh, Lena, you okay? I started some cosmos and some agwalijas, although agwalijas will take at least, they can take up to 90 days to sprout, and they won't flower until the next year. So they won't flower until next year anyways, but I started some of those because I like them. But I started some cosmos just to put in and fill some spaces, but I'm not really doing a lot with seeds because I just wasn't ready, and time is going by now, and I just want to focus on making everything nice and loving what I have, and just, like I said last week, just refreshing things and taking inventory of what didn't die over the winter with the cold temperatures here. And yeah, so I can hear Tom is home, so Sasha will be very happy. But he's at the side gate in the garden here instead of, so in England they call it a garden. The whole thing is a garden instead of a yard. It's a garden. But yeah, so he's coming, instead of coming through the house. I'm not sure why. So another bad habit, chewing on the inside of my mouth. There was part of me that thought if I do my live for an hour, then I could just get back to gardening. But if I'm realistic, like I said, it starts getting dark. Like it gets dusky at 8:30, and it gets dark quite quickly after that. Steve usually goes out with his mates on a Sunday, but just before I started here, I phoned him and asked him if he's going out, and he was about to, but I guess he's not today. So where I could have watched Gardener's World or had some time for myself after I'm done and it starts getting dark, I will spend some time with Steve, and then we can walk the dogs, and maybe I'll go to sleep before midnight because Monday starts tomorrow. The whole week starts again, and everything needs to be done, right? Kids in school and other people at work and all that good stuff. So we'll see. But like I said, the temperatures are supposed to be for here nice this week, in the teens up to like 19, 20. So I hope to be in the garden a lot this week, but there's other things to do, like housework and paperwork and all those things. So I would love to be in the garden every day, but unfortunately the family likes to eat every day as well, and all this stuff, laundry needs to be done, and I don't have to tell you guys because you guys have to, you know, do your own stuff too, so you know that it's not all just fun and hobbies. I guess I should, instead of complaining, I should just be happy that I do get to have as much time in the garden as I do. So I don't know if you guys remember what my garden looked like before, but there's like this flower bed here and this flower bed here, and then in between here was like grass that went down, and then I had like 2 greenhouses there, and it was like onto the, so that was the way to get down on that side of the garden. But I flattened it and filled it in and just put some potted plants there for now, just so that the dog doesn't throw itself through the glass windows again. So I blocked this all off. And then now the only way to get to the other side of the garden is on the sidewalk there. This sidewalk goes all the way around our whole house. I think it's part of it might even be part of the foundation when they built the house, but it goes all the way around. So it is a step down there though. So that's the only way to get, like I said, that's why the pallet is there, to block that if we want, so the dogs can't even get over to the raised beds or anywhere over there. But Lena likes lying over by the gates and looking out into the front garden and stuff. So, and she can see the train tracks from there. Oh, there's Lena. So you'll see her come up there. Yeah, so that's the only way to get to that side of the garden now. But that's okay. we measured the space and got the biggest greenhouse we could fit in there. So I'm very happy with it, especially how high it is. And like I said, I haven't even started, I haven't even began, how is this phrased? I haven't even barely started what could be done with this greenhouse. Like, I can't even, I'm so excited with all the possibilities of this greenhouse and how much room it has and everything. So, again, like I said, I could talk about gardening this whole time if that's what people want to talk about. I'm hoping if somebody comes in the living room, I can get them to get me a drink. It's not like I'm dying, but I still have burps from drinking, so it's not that long ago that I had some pop. So, what have you guys been up to this week? Like I said, you guys have nice weather where you are. You're going out. This is the hard part with me and Steve, is like, if we have nice days, especially on the weekend, he wants to do things, go out, do stuff, and I want to be in the garden. So, yesterday we went out, but it was initially for tiles, to choose tiles for our bathroom downstairs, but then we went out for dinner, and we went to the cemetery where his grandparents are buried, and we went for dinner, and then we went to Shakely Mere. Mere means lake, so we went to Shakely Mere, but I'm like, I cannot walk around the lake, which sometimes you do because it's a small lake. Lakes here are small compared to what we have in Alberta and Canada. Anyways, I said I can't walk around the lake. I am so full, like so stuffed, so we sat on a bench and just looked at the lake and enjoyed it. But like I said, on nice days, Steve would like to get out and do things, and I'm like, no, it's a nice day. I just want to be in the garden, but that is not his idea of fun. I've tried to get him out in the garden. He will come and sit out for a bit, but it's either too hot or there's nothing for him to do out here that he enjoys or whatever. Yesterday he was going to read his book out here, but by the time we were back and he came outside to read his book, like I said, once the sun isn't shining on you, it feels a bit chilly. So, it says Marie, but it says, hello, this is Mel. I'm watching on Mom's tablet. Hi, Melody. Is Mom's watching as well from her phone or something? I don't know. Or you guys are together. I hope you're enjoying your visit up in Grand Prairie with everybody. I gotta stop playing with my hair. So, I have the last of the bran muffins that I made out. I took them out of the freezer now, so that's something I need to do, is make new batches of bran muffins. And I'm trying to think of what I've been up to or what I need to do, or I just want to be in the garden, that's all. Melody says, we are in Grand Prairie for Maureen's celebration of life later. Yes, that is at 4 o'clock. I wish I could be there, but for you guys, it's like, they would say 1:30 here instead of what we would say 1:30, but they say half the hour, so 8:30, 1:30. And so you'll just have to excuse me saying the terms that they use here because I'm becoming one of them. No, because it's easier just to, if you can't beat them, join them. So, yeah, so it's like 1:30 there. Almost. So you have a few hours before the celebration of life. Like I said, I wish I could be there. Say hi to everyone from us and give them hugs from us. But, Melody says, Mom is watching with me. That's nice. Like I said at the beginning of this, I didn't know if you guys were going to tune in because I didn't expect that if you guys were visiting with people there that you could all be like, whoa, let's stop and watch Lisa's live for an hour. But I appreciate that you're tuning in. But you can give me topics to talk about because my brain keeps saying and that's not good when you're doing like public speaking and stuff. So give me topics to talk about. I know that I know the drive up there was a bit daunting because of the forest fires in Alberta, so it took longer than usual and you had to go around a different way. I don't know how close you guys got to the fires, and I know that there's a lot of smoke there and that's pretty hard to deal with. So I feel for you guys and anybody who's dealing with the smoke and the forest fires. in Canada and even America. If there's, I don't know all the forest fires that are going on right now, but I would assume that anywhere that, you know, like there might be some going on in California. Who knows if they even put all the ones out from last year? I don't even know. I don't keep up with it, but I don't imagine it's great. And the other thing is like how it's one thing if it's like fields or forests and stuff, and yes, you know, they'll have to rejuvenate and grow again, but it's another thing when they get close to towns, and obviously the fire doesn't discriminate. So when it gets close to towns and residents and stuff like that, I do have a friend whose house burnt down in a forest fire when in Fort McMurray. Like, I don't even know how long ago that was. I don't know if it's been like about 10 years or something. The big fire, and I think half of Fort McMurray, no, that was Smoky Lake, when half of Smoky Lake burnt. I don't know. It's just a lot of forest fires, and they do come close to towns, and it can, you know, take out houses. Like I said, fire doesn't discriminate, just like any act of God, as they call it, like tornadoes, hurricanes, all of those things. So praying for all you guys, and that you guys get rain and the forest fires can be, you know, get put under control. Melody says, I'm on my phone now. There was a blackbird that just flew. And actually, if you stay out here after it gets dark, you'll start to see the bats fly as well. Especially in this garden, I'm sure there's lots of bugs for them to eat. And with all my water everywhere, like, you know, my little ponds and different things, there's probably lots of, like, mosquitoes and, midges that are like mosquitoes and stuff for them to eat. Melody says, Valley View and Fox Creek are evacuated. That's scary. Those are, you know, pretty big towns. And it's like war when you're looking at, like, I was watching a thing about Syria a couple days ago. And then even in Ukraine right now, and anywhere that there's war, and how vibrant, like, think about your downtown in the place that you live, whether it's a town or a city or whatever. Or think about the city nearest you and the downtown area, or even the residential area, whatever, like how a vibrant, active community and everything else can be like there one moment, and then the next it's just wiped out, and it looks like no one, you know, has lived there in how long, but it's amazingly sad how devastation can just take things out like this. Melody said, unfortunately, some of the fires that are burning were started deliberately. That's even worse. I mean, I understand if it's like an accident, which, you know, being stupid with fire and everything else, but to deliberately set them is absolutely ridiculous. Can you do me a favor? Can you bring me a bottle of pop? Because I spilt my glass, and that was all I had left. Thanks. That's little Erica. Auntie Dan says, very sad, the cops arrested 3 people. And that's what I was just thinking about, the people who started these fires. And if it does start, wait, actually, there might be a positive to that, only in the sense that if it was a forest fire started by lightning, then it would be considered an act of God. And some insurances, like, you have to check your own home insurance to see what's covered and what's not, because a lot of houses won't be covered by a fire if it was started by what is called an act of God. This is my little gift from God. Love you. Night. But if it was deliberately set and it's arson and houses and stuff, Lena, come here. This little dog, she got a stuffy and brought it outside, and she wants to bury it. Stuffies and bones she wants to bury, and that means digging holes in my garden, and I'm not happy about that. Auntie Dan says from GP, so I'm guessing that you're saying the 3 people who are arrested are from Grand Prairie. That's, like, I don't know what goes on in some people's minds. But I wonder, like I said, if it is arson and people's homes burned down or property or anything else, if it will be covered by insurance because it's not a natural disaster type thing. I don't know. Just stupid and unfortunate and unnecessary. Like, I don't understand. There, look at the foam on that. Yummy, I'm happy now. See, there, did you see? It's not wine, it's pop. It's always pop. Wine doesn't foam like that. And you can also tell, no, you can't tell. It looks bright on there still. I was gonna say, you can tell it's starting to get a little bit darker, but you can't. The camera's too good. The light's too good. It looks like it's still bright out, and oh good, the dog lied down there and her stuffy is over there. So I'll sneak it away later. Also, inside toys stay inside and outside toys stay outside. That goes for kids or dogs. Although obviously the kids aren't little enough to have outside toys anymore, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I can't believe it's like May 20th already. Like I told you guys last week, spring is like, if you go by like March, April, May being spring, and then June, July, August being summer, then like spring is almost over. Summer's almost here, although like I said, the temperatures in Alberta, they already feel like it's summer. But it just makes me sad because the time goes by so fast, and we wait so long for these nice days, and then they seem to just go by so fast, especially when, like I said, I wish I could be in the garden every day, but there's, you know, life that has to happen as well, taking away from our summertime in the garden and on patios, drinking a cold drink, or wherever you want to be on a nice day. But we just got to enjoy the time that we are given outside in nature. And do you hear that? Like, it sounds like it could be an owl, but it's not an owl. If you know, like if you live in Ontario, you'll know that sound too, because that's where in Ontario, when I first heard it, I was like, oh, there's owls during the day, but it's not. It's pigeons and doves, collared doves that live. So collared doves are like a cross between pigeons and doves, but they live up in the big Lelandii cedar trees up there. But that's what you're hearing when you hear the yeah, they're allowed to. You hear it? If you listen really closely, you can hear birds all over right now. Why? Because the sun is going down. It hasn't got dark yet, but it's starting to get dark, so they're all roosting. They're going home and they're doing their noise and everything else. So yeah, I don't mind the pigeons in the front. They can stay there. I even give them water in they use out in what I call the Tudor bed, the Tudor flower bed, where I painted like that Tudor building. There's a big deep bird bath out there that I fill up, and they drink out of that, so I give them water and everything there. But if I see them in here trying to eat from the bird feeders and stuff, I will chase them off, because this is for the little birds. So, and like over with not just the bird feeders, but you can see up here, there's that hedge that Steve started and I take care of, and there's lots of little birds that will just go in, hide in there, and then come and eat on the bird feeders, and then go back in there and everything else. So it's nice that the bird feeders are close to, that they have cover that they can take. There's these two robins that follow me around everywhere in the garden, almost to the point of being annoying, like getting in my way. And I don't know if we were reading something or watched something or whatever, but I guess robins, they, in the wild, with animals like bears or whatever, when they're moving rocks or doing whatever, the robins will like take advantage of that. I'm imitating them hopping and getting the bugs and stuff from where an animal's moved something or whatever. So that's what they do in the garden with us too. Instead of going necessarily and finding bugs, although they will do that, if you're in the garden, they're waiting for you to move a pot or move leaves or move something, and then they'll get but sometimes I'll move something and then they're like right in there trying to get the bugs and stuff, and I'm like, I'm trying to work here. So yeah. And today, when I was over by where the pond is that I have to dig out, I made a little pond there where the 3 goldfish are in there, and I was cleaning over there, and while I was there, which is where I believe the robins nest, there was this little tiny bird that was like jumping up beside me on the little dock thing that I have there, where I was sitting, and I'm like, hello, where are you from? And I think it's like the baby robin, but it's like, it's just a little round ball about that big of little feathers and bouncing around, and it was really cute. So I'm hoping that it was, you know, like that they're still taking care of it. That it, I mean, it looked like it was big enough to be out and about from the nest, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how close I was to the nest when I was cleaning in there, but it was a cool experience just to have, like, not just robins. I mean, because that's another reason that I think it's a robin baby too, is because they're so personable. They're not afraid of animals and people as much as other birds are. So, as you guys may or may not know, Agwalijas, common name columbines, are one of my favorite flowers. And I am trying to do this new thing where if you look over here, I don't know how well you can see it, but I'm trying to do a new thing where, like, in this pot with that clematis, it's pink. It's called Little Mermaid, and it's like pink with a little bit of purpley. I love it, but I put pink and white Agwalijas in there, and so I'm like trying to put Agwalijas in like all the pots so you can see further that way. There's yellow and peach Agwalijas. So I'm trying to, yeah, the ones that I have, I'm taking them and putting them in pots so that they, even if they don't flower at the same time as what's in that pot, they're put in somewhere where they can grow nicely and stuff. But the Agwalijas are flowering and almost done, like going over. Like they're, you know, done, but there's so many like poppies that I see growing, and I can't wait for the poppies because they're the same as Agwalijas, that they can cross with each other and you don't know what you're gonna get. So if I let the seeds that are wherever randomly, then I don't know what I'm gonna get. Also, the forget-me-nots, which I let go everywhere. You saw the blue ones in the pots there, and you can see behind the stream the long thin things that are going yellow that are hanging down there. That was the what are they called? Snowdrops. So they flower in late winter. And then I have the forget-me-nots just all over there. But forget-me-nots, the little blue flowers, I let them grow everywhere. You can see more here, everywhere. I just let them in pots everywhere. I let them take over. If I really don't want them somewhere, I'll just pull them out. But I love the sea of blue that I get with them. But they are almost coming to the end of their season as well. So some of them are looking a little bit raggy and need to be pulled out of the pots that they're in or wherever. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next flowering thing, which will be, I would say, the random ones that I haven't planted myself would be the poppies. I'm burping. And actually those two pots, I mean the display of pots that I just showed you, where the clematis is, and I always say clematis because of clamato juice, but it's clematis, is it? I don't know. Anyways, over in those pots that I showed you, there's 2 new roses that me and Steve bought. Can't remember what the names of them are right now. I'll put them in the comments. But yeah, 2 new roses that Steve and I bought on clearance a few months ago. And I put them in big pots there, mixed in with Agwalijas and other things. So yeah, so actually the pot with the yellow and peach Agwalijas has one of the roses in. And the pot next to it with like a very dark burgundy Agwalija has the other rose in. So possibly next year they may actually bloom at the same time. I might have like the roses starting when the Agwalijas are in bloom, but we'll see. If not, it's still the same color scheme sort of, but it'll look good. It just you know, whatever. So, and I'll try to add like some pansies, you know, violas, pansies in there that are similar colors as well. I like to do pots like that where the colors go with each other. Oh, it wasn't a blackbird this time, it was a robin. And I don't know if you can see it. It's, you know where I said Lena goes down? Oh, it just flew away, but it was right there. So after, you can rewind it and see right there. Or if you're watching this not live, it was right where my thumb is above my finger. I mean my thumb, that was my finger. So that was one of the robins. Steve, the other day, wasn't yesterday. a couple days ago, he was sitting out here for a few minutes with me, and the robins who follow me all over the place were bouncing around, and he got some really nice pictures of them. So yeah, it's getting chillier out here, and I think you can tell by the coloring that it's not dark yet, but I think you can see that the light is shining on my face more, which means it's because it's getting dimmer around me. But what am I at? Oh wow, actually we're further along than I thought. We're at like almost 45 minutes. So we have 15 minutes to ramble if there's so I can do the end of life question now, which this week I want it to be, I was listening to a podcast. It's called Counter Clock, I think. I'll take a screenshot of it and put it in the comments as well. I listened to the third season or fifth season. I think it's the third season. Anyways, they put all the episodes out at once. So all the episodes came out like a week or two ago for the whole season. And so I just binged them today. And this one is about, it was a guy who got murdered, and that his murder has never been solved. And they don't know if it was a random, just a random like robbery. He was, in his truck, but he was in an area of town that he wouldn't normally go to. And anyways, it's just this whole thing. But he also has some business partners, and it seems like it seems pretty clear when you listen to all the stuff that it seems like his business partners set him up because they had a type of life insurance where, because they had so many businesses together and they were expensive businesses, it was a way of and you should look into this if you have businesses, especially if they're worth anything, for life insurance. If you do die, like what covers your part of the business, or or do your next of kin inherit that part of the business. And so anyways, the way that this life insurance was set up, it was that in case of his death, the beneficiary was his business partners, so that they could pay out any of the business stuff that he had, and then the remainder would go to the family or whatever. But obviously, when he died, the business partners got all the money, and they didn't really give any to the family. It looks very suspicious. So today's end of life thing is, the question is, if you've already done your will, then like, do you have a will? Do you have end of life plans? And if you do, where are they? If you have a will and you've done it with a lawyer, does the lawyer have a copy? Does one of your loved ones have a copy, or does your loved one know where you keep it in case something happens to you? Because that's the other thing, is they can't find a will for this because the guy who died trusted his business partners so much. One of the business partners took care of all his finances and everything. So, and then, he had another friend who was the lawyer and everything. It was just very shady. But, so, after he died, and when his daughter finally cleaned out his office, they found this will that was like, seemed like it could have been easily found if it was the actual will by, the people looking into things. But it was just like a photocopy of a will, and it just like, but where's the original? And so anyways, I'm not saying that you guys are in business with any shady people or that someone's going to murder you, but it actually can even happen where, like, if someone passes away, okay, if you pass away at home, it has to be inspected. Even if it's not suspicious, they still have to, anybody who dies at home, they have to make sure that it was just a legitimate, like, passing away at home and everything else. So the house might be closed until they're done looking at it, and you might want the will for that person right away, but you can't get into the house because they're still checking things out, making sure there wasn't a murder. So it's important to know where your will and your last plans are and all that, like, but also not just where it is, but it would be good to have a second copy, a second legal copy or whatever, to, just in case it can't be found or it goes missing, or, just in case because listen, death does some crazy things to people. Like, even the best of people can go, like, a little bit mentally mad, especially when they think they are entitled to inheritance. Can I just say right now, no one is entitled to an inheritance. Okay, well, maybe like a husband and wife, if they've worked together their whole lives and to build their life together, then that's different. But I mean, like kids and grandkids and siblings and even parents, if you sadly have a kid who passes away, no one is entitled to an inheritance. And some people think that they deserve that money. I just listened to a thing the other day where it was like one of those, am I the assholes? Am I the asshole? And it said, oh yeah, okay, so the wife died and the husband got like the life insurance, but then her family is trying to make him feel guilty because the parents lost their house in like the hurricane and Katrina, so wanted money from the estate to rebuild their house. The brother wanted money to go to college, but the money was, and they're like, oh, she would have wanted it this way. It's like, no, if she would have wanted it that way, she would have put that in her will. The fact that she put in her will that it was left to her husband means she didn't want her parents and her brother to have anything. That's not how she set it up. But it was just like they were trying to make him feel guilty, and am I the asshole for not helping them out? Like, it was only like $100,000 or pounds or whatever, and it was like, so, yes, it sounds like a lot of money, but really it's not, especially like he paid for the funeral and everything else. And it's like, so it was like, am I the asshole for not helping them out with the things that they want with this money, or for keeping it for myself? And it's like, no, you're not the asshole. The money is yours. It's like, first of all, yes, they lost their sister and their daughter as well, so they're grieving, but you're grieving your wife. So how dare anyone make you feel guilty over money and everything else? But it's just ridiculous. So my point is, if you have a will or your end of life plans and everything, which we are all working on right now, right? Then make sure you have more than one copy. Make sure there's a legal copy. So if there's a copy with your lawyers and or somewhere else, let people know. Like I said, you don't need to let them know what's in your will. You don't need to let them know what your wishes are unless you think it's important to tell them before the time that you pass away. But just to know where to find all the paperwork and everything else in the case of your passing away. So because I went on a tangent there, I might have actually got to my time. Nope, still about 9 minutes or 8.5 minutes. Yeah, but I know I listen to a lot of crime podcasts, so I know where my head is at, and that these things won't happen in typical situations. But there is always the other things, like I said, of like, just, like I said, if someone dies in the house and you're not able to get into the house to get the paperwork, or if someone hasn't told you where it is and they're a hoarder and you have to go through everything to find it, but you want their will and their, last wishes and everything, you want to find it right away, so how do they want their funeral? Do they want to be buried or cremated? You need to know those things like within days or weeks of the person passing away. So going through a hoarder's house to try and find where they kept their last wishes and stuff would be very difficult. But if they told you that it's, in the dining room under the stack of books or whatever, then you know exactly where to go for that stuff. So that's this week's question. Anyways, it is totally different time here. It's like 9 o'clock at night, so almost 9 o'clock at night. So obviously I wouldn't be having dinner and a party right now, but I am sad that I am not with my family to celebrate the life of my cousin Maureen and to give her, her final send-off. I am sure she will be there in spirit, and because I will be sleeping before the party's over, I'll try and send my astral self there and be with you guys as well. But I love my family. I hope you guys have a good time tonight and give Maureen the party that she would love to be at, and just hug each other, love each other, and say hi to everyone for me. And other than that, for my friends and family who aren't going to that, I love you guys too. I hope that you have tuned in today, or that you tuned in sometime to see me and chat with me and interact with me, because I miss a lot of my friends and family that live further away, and this is the best way for me to keep in contact with all of you. So join me on my rambling hour so that we can chat. And I like it when you interact, so it's not just me chatting about myself to myself and to you guys. It's interactive, and we have topics and discussions and everything else. I really like it better that way. And I do like when I have guests. So if you want to be my guest, let me know, and we will set that up too, because that makes it interesting, because different people, different interests, different things. You never know who you're going to have, what we're going to talk about, and that's why it's called the Rambling Hour, because we ramble, but we don't know what is going to be the topic of the day. Anywho, now that we have this nice weather, and you can see that even though it's like 8:52, it still seems light out. I can start doing my lives from the garden again, unless I do a kitchen special or something else, but we will hopefully be in the garden again next Sunday. So take care of yourself. I will try and get as much gardening as I can do this week, but I have other things to do as well, like I said, baking and stuff. I need to get some more muffins made, and all the housework and everything else. But yes, my plan this week is, with the nice weather, because we never know how long it's going to last, is to try and be in the garden as much as I can. So hopefully you guys have a good week, and we will see you next Sunday, same time, same place. Melody says, have a great week, and Diane says, have a great night, see you next week. And Melody says, love you. And see, this is what I mean, like, I didn't even realize that they were still watching. I love you guys, and I'm glad that you're still watching, but when nobody's saying anything, I have no idea who's watching, and whatever, but that's cool. So I love you guys, and yes, I will have a good week. You guys have a good week too. Have a good party tonight, and I will see you next week. Bye. Love you guys.